How's it going, everybody? Coming at you once again. Happy Monday. It's Monday for me. I don't know what day you're actually watching my videos on. You could be watching on the day I load it. You could be watching it 3 days later. Who knows? But when I do my Monday show, I always do the show off my buds. I like to do the High Times Legislative Roundup. They load up that thing every Monday. Oh, these smell so good. Nice and just pretty little nugs in there. Sorry, I enjoy showing off my buds. They're so pretty looking. Nice and dense and tasty. So this week on the Roundup was actually a pretty good week, actually. Not a whole lot going on, just a lot of, some promising, hopeful things going on that are happening later on. Like for Alaska, we're going to start off here in Alaska. I don't know if these things are actually alphabetical order. I highly doubt it. No, they're not alphabetical order. So starting off in Alaska, some of our biggest news is coming from there. They're going to be the first state to allow an on-site consumption of marijuana, which could actually in turn lead into the possibilities of cannabis cafes. Cannabis cafes are actually more popular and more known in Amsterdam right now. Everybody knows about those little bakeries you can go to and ask for the special brownies, or the cafes you can go sit down and smoke up and stuff like that. So Alaska is actually looking to do something along those lines. They want to see a public domain form of smoking. I honestly believe the rule should go wherever you're allowed to drink alcohol, you're allowed to smoke. That's my thought. And if you want to argue about how children are going to be susceptible to your smoking, well, they're also susceptible to your drinking too. But I don't see you complaining about that. Because we got to have that drink. We got to have that double vodka martini before we go hit the California adventure rides in Disneyland. In New Jersey, the legislature in New Jersey has gathered to discuss a full-scale recreational marijuana market. Basically, it's in discussion. They're trying to figure out what would be the best regulations, the best way to go about legalizing marijuana, legalizing this medical marijuana in their state. But so far, there is no word from their anti-marijuana governor, Chris Christie. We're not sure how he's looking upon it now. If he's changing his mind, if he's getting paid to do it, to look at it a different way now. We don't know which way he's going. That guy flips back and forth more than his weight ever will think about doing. In Pennsylvania, sorry, I got a little bit of ashes here, and a little bit of ashes and herb laying all over my paper, so I couldn't read. Pennsylvania, the House has pulled a bill aimed at legalizing a statewide medical marijuana program. Basically, they pulled the bill in hopes to present a more watered down version of this bill later on in the future. They're not pulling it saying they don't want it. They're pulling it because it was too open for them. They want it to be a little bit more controlled than what this first bill was expecting. So basically, maybe they're just looking to say, CBD is cool. Let's go that way. I'm sorry, we still got quite a few people out there still saying you can't call it medicine by only using one part of the plant. Got to use the whole thing in order for the medicine to work. Florida has finally selected their 5 nurseries that will house their legal marijuana growing for the entire state. They were supposed to be finished by January 1st and allowing for the market to be finalized by then. Unfortunately, it's not looking like they're going to be finished by January 1st. With only 1 month to go, and it's still going to take over 241 days to finalize the grow and everything and get it to mature state. It's going to take quite some time. So for those of you that are all rooting for these nurseries, it's time for you to know what it feels like to be a grower. We wait and wait and wait and patiently wait until it's done. When harvest is done, we have fun, we party, we smoke, we do our thing, we enjoy our lives, and then we realize, holy crap, we should not have done that. Now we're out of weed. So we grow again, making more, smoking more. Also, the Supreme Court in Florida has canceled a hearing intended to allow opposing forces to speak. There are no opposing forces to their medical marijuana program right now, so with no opposing forces, they just canceled the hearing. There's no point in sitting around going, so does anybody oppose? No? Okay, there's $800 for the taxpayer money. This case is closed. No need to spend taxpayer money just to sit around and look funny at each other. Arkansas still needs 88,000 signatures to make it for the 2016 ballot. Arkansas for Compassionate Care is the group, and they're also looking for funds to hire canvassers to go around collecting these signatures. Basically, if they're looking for friends or large parties or anybody that can help donate money to pay these canvassers, or even canvassers willing to work voluntarily for no money. So if you happen to be in Arkansas, go look up the Arkansas for Compassionate Care and go see if you can't join their group and help them out. They need signatures. So if you're in Arkansas, look them up and give them their signatures. Look for them to be sitting outside your stores. Those people with the ballot things, ask them, do you have the Arkansas for Compassionate Care signature ballot? They'll do it for you. They'll pull it out. Or just ask them, do you have the marijuana legalization ballot? When they pull that out, sign it. Because those people know what it's talking about, and they might not bring out the marijuana one. They'll talk about every single other one but that one to bring everybody over. You have to ask them about it. But that's it for the legislative roundup. So just to kind of move around in different nations now, actually talking about Canada, I'm going to actually move up into Canada for a second story. The Minister of Health, Jane Philpott, informed CBC News that the government is I can't even spell my own words now, or I can read my own words. That the government is looking into an exploratory expedition to find an appropriate model for ending prohibition within their nation. So basically, Canada is searching for the right model, whoever has the best model for marijuana legalization. They're looking through all of them, searching for the best model, even coming up with some of their own to figure out which would be best. How can we take marijuana legalization, regulate it, and put it out there for our entire nation? They have a task force of scientists and medical professionals that has actually convinced the Miss Jane here that the world will be looking towards Canada as its inspiration for legalization. So while the nation of America, the leading nation of the world, as we reluctantly like to call ourselves, we're sitting around arguing from state to state, from position to position, what's best for legalization, what's best for marijuana, what's best for this, for each state. And we can't come up with anything because we're too busy arguing about it, still arresting people for the subject, still sending people to jail, still saying no. We can't figure out anything. Canada is saying, because of this, the whole world's going to look at them to legalize their nation. Keep in mind, other nations are legalizing. Even Australia is talking about it. Jane says that Philpott says most of this came up after having conversations with her children and realized that the current criminalization method is completely flawed. She goes on to say, talk to your own children at your own homes, and you'll actually realize that there's more issues that with the fact that it's accessible now for them through the black market. There's more, and there's also issues with the concentration of doses. You do have a concentrated form of it that can get pretty strong. Brownies can get pretty strong, so forth and so on. The flower side is still just the flower side. One hit quitters. There, you got your one hit quitters, and then you got your old joiners. Okay, it's gonna happen. Everybody's got that throughout the whole world. But basically, Jane feels that the majority of the Canadian population will actually support the government's work. That she's not looking for much of an opposition, despite the fact of how people actually feel about marijuana. So, in the end, if Canada actually moves forward to legalize throughout their entire nation and actually have the best model whatsoever, the rest of us might actually be looking towards Canada as our next model for legalization. It's kind of crazy. We're going to be looking at Canada for our inspiration to legalize marijuana. They do have some pretty good grape vineyards up there and some really good farms, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and cut out of here, give you guys the legislative roundup and the Canadian roundup. Too bad we have to round up the legislative. Can't just have it all at once. Let's just make it one big entity. Well, that's right. We did do that. Now they're trying to fight us back for everything. Remember, everybody, educate before you medicate. I'm not just a paranoid pot smoker here. Y'all have a peaceful, positive, and productive day. Coming at you.